This video will walk through the process of completing the activity, What's the Store Policy at Plastic Mart. If you choose to complete the code by selecting the right answer, the right letter for each of the percents and other numbers in the chart at the bottom of the activity, then you can type in that riddle answer for bonus points on the activity. Here's how you could read and interpret and then answer questions for each of the different graphs that's given. The first graph we have, the first problem, comes from the favorite kind of pie. And the directions ask us to use this pie chart that shows the results of 175 people who responded to a survey. They were asked the question, what's your favorite kind of pie? And 175 people responded to that question, and we have the results here in this chart. Now, when you do your project, you're asking a similar question, and you'll create your pie graph or your circle graph in the same way. But once it's created, we can interpret it. What percent of those surveyed chose apple? Well, apple, that's the one up here you see is empty. It doesn't tell us the percent. But we know that the total percent across all the sections is supposed to be 100%. So if I add the cherry, the banana cream, lemon meringue, and other, I'd get a total of 76. And then I can subtract 76 from 100 to get that there's 24% left. So apple must be 24%. When we're asked how many people chose apple, that's the same as answering this over here. We see answer A. The letter A in the code is 24% of the people who responded. So 24% of 175. I'll change the 24% to a decimal 0.24. So 24 100ths. And multiply that by 175 to get that there's 42 people who chose apple. How many people chose cherry? 20% of the respondents chose cherry, so 20% of 175 is 0.20, which I can change to 2/10 or 0.2 times 175, gives us a total of 35 people. Central angle, it's critical to understand that the entire circle has 360 degrees. So what we're doing in this next two questions is seeing what percent of that 360 degrees corresponds to each of the different segments. So for letter S, the central angle for lemon meringue, 32% of the 360 degrees gives us 115 degrees. The measure of the central angle for banana cream, 9% of 360. Make sure you're creating the right decimal. 9%, 9/100ths is 0.09 times 360 degrees, and that's where we get the 32 degrees. 32 degrees is 9% of 360 degrees. And then finally, the total should always add up to 360 degrees because there are 360 degrees in the circle. The second graph, the average American trash can, shows us what percent of the trash that goes out in an average trash can contains the different types of trash. The percent of trash that's plastic, so plastic, that's this piece here, this sliver that doesn't have a percent. And because all the others do have a percent, I can add the 41, 8, 9, 18, 10, and 8 and subtract that from the total of 100%. And I would get that there's 6% left for plastic. We can read from the graph that 8% of the trash is glass. So if I found 8% of the 1,800 pounds of trash, that's 0.08 times 1,800, I'd get that there are 144 pounds of glass thrown away. I can calculate the number of pounds of paper that are thrown away in the same way. 41% of the 1,800, so that gives me 0.41 times 1,800, will give us 738 pounds. Now for central angles, the yard waste is 18%. So 18% of 360 degrees gives us 65 degrees. And then the measure of the central angle for the glass sector, we have 8%, 0.08. 8% of 360 degrees gives us 29 degrees. And then finally, the sum of the percents, the percent should always add up to the total of 100%. If we included the entire circle is 100% of those who responded to the question. Let's look at the last question. The last question gives us a chart, and we could use this chart to create a circle graph. If you did use this information to create a circle graph, we would see that the nuclear power sector is going to be 21.9% of the 360 degrees. So I can change the 21.9% to 0.219, multiply it by 360 degrees to get 79 degrees. The coal sector, 56.3, is 0.563, or 563 thousandths times 360 degrees gives us a central angle of 203 degrees. Oil is only making up 3.3%, so as a decimal, that's 33 thousandths, 0.033, times 360 degrees gives us 12 degrees. We could do the same for hydroelectric power or natural gas, but the sector for other, be careful with the decimal here, 0.6 of 1% is less than 1/100th. It's 6,000, so 0.006 times 360 degrees is a very small 2 degrees. It would be such a small sliver that we would need quite a large circle to even see it. I hope that this short video has helped you work through the examples in this activity. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.